Hi YouTube, this is my fuzz pedal. This is a Twinote PI FUZZ, which as you can see I've set up my special picture-in-picture thing without having to do any editing. So I'll just pause this and then I'll set it up. You can look these up online. And magic, it's now sitting there. I've kind of got a system where I've got guitar balanced with the webcam from the thingy sitting pointing at it. Yeah, so for demoing purposes, using my Japanese strat, kind of why I got this, rather than trying to demonstrate it with all the crazy guitars I normally buy. So a kind of normal guitar. This one, it's a dimarzio stacked pickup. That's a lace sensor, and that's an old 70s Fender pickup. This is playing through the wee laney there. It's going through that 3x12 cabinet, and the mic's up there. So probably when I'm talking, when I'm over adjusting the knobs, talk maybe a bit louder. Yeah, so let's pick up. Yeah, so I might have a first bit of talk about the pedal. Then I'll have a wee jam through it, and then I might do, when I did my Mosky Rat demo pedal, I just kind of, I put a loop in, which involved me unplugging the amp and putting it in the other direction. Put a loop in, then fiddled with the knobs live, kind of as more of a demo of what it does live, because you can't play and twiddle the knobs at the same time. I just looked them up on eBay. They're now 25 quid, so it's still a pretty pure budget pedal. I think that's from China, you know. When I got it, it was on, I think it was just new, and it was like 18 quid or something like that. And I looked at it and I thought, I decided not to, and then the following morning, you know, you get they're a bit sneaky this way, you get the email saying like, oh, an item you looked at, it's got 10% off, so it became £16 something. Ended up paying for it. I thought, well, sod it, I quite like the idea of a fuzz pedal. A couple of my pals have bought this pedal and didn't like it, said it didn't sound good at all. Not like my one, so there might be a variance in them. I don't know, maybe they're not all the same. I don't know about that. I was quite impressed with it. It came in like a pretty cool looking, well, I'm easily impressed obviously. It came in like a cool unique box with a sort of vintagey looking paper sticker on the front, and then like a manual that was it was written pretty well in English, and it just sort of done on sort of brown oldie worldy paper and all that. It's got like the pie symbol on it, so it makes you think it's a big muff. I'm not really sure it is much of a big muff, really. It's a sort of, I don't know, I mean, anytime I say I'm stomping on fuzz in any of my videos, that's the one I'm using. I've basically just taken it out. You can see there's a hole in my pedal board. If I'm not standing in front of it, there's a hole where it was. So I've kind of got it. My system I'm going in, if I talk this bit, you're probably more likely to hear me. So I'm going into a tuner, into a compressor, which is never on. The Mosky Rat, the US Dream, that, and then it goes into like a true bypass loop thing. So but most of the time it's basically that's what it's running through, then goes straight into the amp, or straight into the drum, the Muir drummer pedal, and then into the looper pedal. So that's kind of the way I'm doing it. I will, after I've played a wee bit like this, I will put in some sort of loop and then switch it, put it in after the loop pedal, so I can fiddle with the knobs. And if I get that far, I don't know how it will go. So that's clean. Makes quite a big. Hopefully you can see where the knobs are there. We've like sort of 12 o'clock on them. Top left is level, which is at nothing just now, and then it's gain, top right, and then scoop, and then tone on the bottom. So turn it on. Kind of like pedals that work when you've got all the dials at 12, well, apart from volume obviously. Here we go. so that's the end of the demo. It's basically, that's just what I want the guitar to sound like. Pretty much. I've not really twiddled with the other knobs very much. It's like, I know people like to tweak, but I mean, as far as I'm concerned, kinda that's just what I wanted. Pretty much the way I use it all the time. Whether it's so much a fuzz as more of just a sort of overdrivey type thing. After I bought it, someone commented, I think I did a video when I got it before I'd developed my super picture-in-picture technique. And someone said it's meant to be like the Catlin bred Sabra Cadabra pedal. And I thought, oh, Sabra Cadabra, Black Sabbath song. I'm not sure how true that is. I think the way they're going, it's kind of the same colour, and it's got I think the 4 knobs are called the same things. So in that respect, yeah, it's kind of like the Sabra Cadabra. I remember when the Sabra Cadabra pedal came out, I thought, it's a Black Sabbath pedal, that might be interesting. But I'm like, I don't know, I'm guessing. It's like 80 quid, 90 quid, something like that. You know, it was in the, not in the sort of £20 budget range, which, do you know what I'm going for? But it might be, the reason a couple of my pals didn't like it might be to do with my amp. I'm using the wee 15 watt valve amp, and maybe just the sound I'm looking for. Maybe it just works really well with a tube amp or a valve amp if you're in UK. Maybe that might be something to do with how it works. Maybe it doesn't sound good through, like, I don't know, other things. I can really only give you through this, but at least I've chosen a guitar that other people will at least know what it is. So I suppose I'll try and mess about with the knobs, even though it's already sounding a bit. I'm trying to gain it full. So as I gain it full, turn it down a wee bit. I'm actually recording this, so I'm not actually obscuring the camera. I'm still in shot. I'll try to turn the gain down so like trying to gain at nothing. Do you need to put the volume up a bit for that? No. That's still a viable sound. Gain it a quarter. I don't know, is that really fuzz? Is that not more of a just I mean, I kind of know a little bit more about what fuzz is since I got the Behringer pedal, which I don't really use that much. I got the Behringer Super Fuzz SF300. It was meant to be like a pure vintage fuzz. It sounds very different to this one. Whereas that's just kind of like more like an amp overdrive, maybe. I just think that 12 o'clock seems to be about the amount of distortion I like. Tone knob, turn the tone down. Obviously these are very interactive, you have to keep adjusting the volume every time you mess with any of the other knobs. Oh, maybe the tone is quite good in the neck pickup. Try to tone it full. Turn the volume down a little bit. Maybe it sounds a little bit more fuzzy now. That's the neck pickup, bridge pickup. trebly, but that's me using a Strat on the bridge pickup with the tone at full, so can't really complain that it's going to be trebly. Still usable, I would have thought. I think that's sticking out in any mix. Put that back to the middle, so scoop down to nothing. Taking out the mid, isn't it? Big pickup. It's funny when you go to, maybe this is pure obvious to everyone, when you go to the neck pickup, it seems to like the more scoopy and less tone you got on it. I'll be totally honest, pretty much all the sounds I've found so far have been kind of usable. And then suddenly back to the bridge pickup. Scoop up to 3/4. Turn the volume down a little bit. A little bit more. Neck pickup. I suppose scoop it full. Yeah, it's kind of getting towards it. You're apt to sound a bit like one of those wee, like an old-fashioned 10-watt washburn a jar thing. Let's pick up. Yeah, it kind of sounds like my old BB blaster. Yeah, so maybe I'm quite happy. I'm maybe a bit more happy with the scoop kind of in the middle. You really do have to adjust the volume every time you touch one of the other knobs. And then I'll do one more thing before I put a loop in. I'll go for all the knobs at full length. Apart from volume, obviously, because that's stupid having the volume up. Let's go. Yeah, so it's interesting. It's quite noisy, but I'm not running it through my isolated power supply because it's over there. My isolated power supply is on the floor over there, so it's kind of a little bit noisier than it would be normally. It's not normally as noisy as that. But okay, if I go to a not true single coil, what's the release sensor like? It's meant to be noiseless, but then that's the noise you get for a single coil. Okay, yeah. That'd be the camera falling off the guitar there, must have been too bassy for it. Good time to stop it though, so I'll pause it now and I'll go into the loop thing. And back on. You don't know if it leads to do that, so it's now in after the loop pedal. I have, on another note, just noticed that the leads that I was using to connect the loop pedal to the amp isn't a good lead, because I've now replaced it with another one in the guitar. I've not touched anything else. My guitar is now much louder and better sounding, so that's me choosing the best looking lead rather than actually the best lead. So that's getting replaced now. So you know, it goes to show it doesn't matter how expensive your guitar or your amp is. If you're using a dodgy lead, it obviously wasn't letting through all the signal. So I'll turn the pedal on now. Just try to think of a good. This is after the loop pedal, so the loop will be recorded clean. Try and find a good riff that I can be bothered listening to for 5 minutes over and over again. Doesn't really matter what riff I choose. It's going to be annoying after a couple of minutes anyway. Go for. Yeah, so that's going to get really annoying anyway. So here we go. Now it's all running through this. Well, that was the plan anyway. Yeah, so. Really annoying the timing in that. Really doing my head in. It's always going to happen. Stick and down out then. Yeah, I don't really know if that was really worthwhile doing that, let's be honest. But I suppose now I know it can be done. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I think it's quite a lot. It's quite usable. You just get to keep it at 12. I quite like that sound. But then when you get down to it's like having a tone and having this extra one. Yeah, that riff. The annoyingness in that riff came through really quite well there. Yeah, so it's good enough to have stayed in my pedal board, and I find that I use it quite a lot. I'm not a pedal guy, even though if you look at the pedal board, there's about 20 down there. Only a few of them ever get stomped on. This kind of took over from the Rat, and the Joyo US Dream one kind of came in as well. Maybe just because they're both kind of new-ish to me. Those are the two I use most just now, really. And I just use a clean sound. Yeah, so I recommend it if it's what you're after. Again, it's whether it's a fuzz, I'm not really sure. It's a fuzzy type thing. I mean, it's different from the Rat pedal, and it's different from the Joyo US Dream. I don't really know how to use all the words. You know, people talking about warm and fat and wet and slippy and all these other words to describe tone, and you're like, well, just listen to it, and if you like it, then that's fine. I should probably have used it with a, what do you call it? Like a humbucker guitar. 20 minutes in, sod it. If anyone's still listening, I'll pause it, put it back in at the start of the loop, and I'll use some humbuckers in it for a wee bit of a play out. Rock on. Yeah, yeah, so now we're on humbuckers. I'm just going to make myself a new lead to connect the loop pedal into the amp. It's sounding much clearer without it. What's still on? Sorry. It's down there, the fuzz pedal. Yes, that's it. And, that's the sound I'm using before the pedal. This is my Washburn Tour 24, which looks like a telly, but in every sound-wise is not a telly. Humbuckers, I couldn't coil split. This bridge is fantastic. I just really noticed there, see when you use the wee fine adjustment screws, they're so much cleaner than any other Floyd Rose I've used. This is from well, apparently it's from a Yamaha SG at some point. These guitars came with rubbish bridges, a sort of Floyd Rosey type thing, but the back, I've never actually owned, I've had this one, and the guitar you can't quite see there came with this terrible bridge. This one never had the bridge when I got it. It had this Yamaha Floyd Rose in it, and that one did have the bridge, but it was snapped in half. So I've never actually used the bridge, but it was such cheap metal, and it's like you look at the like with the block joined to the bottom of the sort of base plate, there was such a thin piece of metal at the sides that I don't think there's going to be, unless the guitar's never been played, you're not going to get one 30 years old that still hasn't broken. Yeah, so this is it with all the dials at 12. Don't press it. Get up at full. The game do everything. Really good guitar. I really like this one. Oh, it's heavy though. I just had this amazing looking leather strap on it, which I just left on it. Strap locks and stuff, which isn't normally what I would not normally do that myself, but it's there. Strings on it are ancient. Sounds very. I would say that the knobs seem to make an awful lot more difference on the Strat than they do in this. I suppose in some ways I'm quite happy the way this one doesn't have the the coil split pickups. It's actually exactly the same pickups that are in the Hawk, but the Hawks are coil splittable, and obviously I would normally break into a pickup and add the extra wires to make them coil splittable, but these are sealed units, so are those ones. It's like, so it's filled with epoxy or whatever, so it's basically just an epoxy block with 2 wires coming out it, whereas that's an epoxy block with 4 wires coming out it. And also this one, although it's a bit more Telecaster than it should be, it's got this metal plate on it. That's because one of the reasons I got it really cheap was that it's been bashed at some point and it's kind of cracked between the volume knobs. It should have been like a Les Paul type switch and a volume and a tone. So I put, to hide the cracks, I got like a metal telly plate from China. Put it on, it's now a lever switch. But electrically it's the same. Yeah. So, Washburn Tour 24, great guitar if you can find one. So there's a guy, every time I do this, there's a guy who keeps asking to buy it. There's a band, is it Flock of Seagulls, something like that, one of these 80s bands with it was like a #1 hit or something. They're playing out on some Hawaiian beach or something. The guy's playing one of these. These are much more common. I've only ever seen this one on its own. These are most commonly BBRs, so it's basically this exact guitar, apart from where it's white, it's got red on it, hence the black red. You see them a couple of times. I don't know if there's any on eBay just now, but you maybe see 1 or 2 a year type thing. They vary hugely in price. Never seen an all black one, or a black white or whatever. I don't even know what you would call this. That was kind of what egged me into buying the Hawk. Well, one, it was broken and the bridge was mashed, so it was like pure, cheap, because there's no bridge on it, so I'll be able to do something with that. And also it's the same colour as this. I've never seen a Hawk with this black, the BBR, but not with R before. Actually, the binding's coming off the neck and all this. I had to glue it all back on again. It's amazing when you fix up something right, you forget what it was ever like before. I mean, now looking at this, okay, it does have a Floyd Rose on it, but it doesn't. That could be like it's nothing like the state it was when I got it. It didn't play, and I got it for peanuts because it was in bits and there was bits missing and stuff. But I mean, now it's fixed, and that was a couple of years ago I fixed it. It's now still fixed, so it's now a good guitar again. Again, I wish I was back in the studio with the band, because I'd take this in, play some of our songs. Definite Black Sabbath telly, or obviously you get super strats. Is this a super telly that's got Floyd Rose in it? I know. I think there's a lot of Telecaster purists out there who'd absolutely puke at the thought of a Telecaster with a Floyd Rose on it. But it's got one. It's down bend only, but it really does return to pitch. Rock on! Catch you later. Off.